The White House is carefully weighing its response to the attack that killed 3 U.S. soldiers at a military base in Jordan. Critics say the delay is sending a message of weakness to America's enemies.
They also believe it's giving terrorists the green light for more attacks. Chris Mitchell reports from Jerusalem.
The Pentagon identified the 3 U.S. soldiers killed in Sunday's attack. The mother of Specialist Kennedy Sanders spoke of her 24-year-old daughter.
Kennedy was very outgoing. She was very athletic, very competitive. So all of these different things that she had plans for that, were just cut short in the blink of an eye. So, I just feel like somebody like her that's so full of life, it's just unfair that she'll never get to realize those dreams that she had.
The Iranian-backed Islamic resistance in Iraq claimed responsibility, but Iran has denied any link to the drone strike that also wounded more than 30 U.S. soldiers. The attack drone reportedly slipped through U.S. defenses because it was confused with a U.S. drone returning to base. National Security spokesman John Kirby promised a response.
We do not seek another war. We do not seek to escalate. But we will absolutely do what is required to protect ourselves, to continue that mission, and to respond appropriately to these attacks.
Kirby said President Biden, as commander-in-chief, will respond in a time and manner of his choosing.
We'll also do it fully cognizant of the fact that these groups, backed by Tehran, have just taken the lives of American troops. And I think I'll leave it there.
Some Middle East analysts say U.S. enemies in the region are sensing weakness.
When they hear proportionality, reasonable, moderate, we don't want a regional war, that sounds so good in Davos. But our adversaries hear that as weakness and a green light for aggression.
Bowman says Iran's goal is clear.
The goal of the Islamic Republic of Iran here, if we're just being direct and blunt, is to kick American forces out of the region so it can more effectively control and undermine its neighbors and advance its radical ideology.
Meanwhile, the UN says it's taking swift action following the allegations UNRWA staff members took part in the October 7th massacres. The Wall Street Journal reporting that 10% of UNRWA's workforce are linked to terror groups in Gaza, while at least a dozen participated in the attacks, including kidnapping, and tracked to the sites where scores of Israelis were murdered. Most of them also served as teachers in UNRWA schools. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken addressed the UNRWA scandal.
It is imperative that UNRWA immediately, as it said it would, investigate, that it hold people accountable as necessary, and that it review its procedures.
Adi Schwartz, co-author of The War of Return, says he believes the current investigation may be the same as many before.
Yes, there are a few bad apples. We will get rid of them, but please give us back the money and we can all go back to normal. I think this would be a terrible mistake.
On Monday, Hamas rejected a proposal for the release of the hostages. In a statement, it said, Israel must cease its aggression and withdraw from Gaza before any exchange transaction takes place. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
There needs to be outrage over this, and we've been warning for years, going all the way back to when Hamas won its election in 2006 and then suspended elections in 2007. This is a terror group. It's been identified internationally and designated a terror group. Now, here are the facts. 1,200 members of a terror group, and whether it's Hamas or Palestinian Islamic Jihad, they are salaried employees of UNRWA. And to say, oh, this is a shock, and we're going to act swiftly, and we're going to have an investigation. Are you kidding me? 10% of your workforce are terrorists, and you're paying them every single week. It makes no sense to me. And here's where it gets absolutely horrific. 12 salaried members of UNRWA participated in the October 7th attack. One was part of the group that massacred 97 people in a kibbutz. 2 of them kidnapped women from Israel and carried them back to Gaza. Now, when I sit and think about that and think that my taxpayer my taxes, I'm a taxpayer, my taxes went to that, are you kidding me? That should never happen. It should never exist. The U.S. taxpayer should never support a terrorist group, but we've been doing it for years and years and years. And the State Department and our intelligence services have to know this. You can't hide 1,200 people on your payroll and not have it be wide known. You can't hide the terror network tunnels underneath Gaza and have it not be widely known. That terror network is bigger than the London subway. It's bigger than the New York subway. You look at this and go, how could this ever happen? Well, it was built with our taxpayer dollars. Let us forever, the State Department is announcing we're suspending payments to UNRWA. We should never do it ever, 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 ever again, because they have clearly shown us what they are doing. They're using our money to educate their children in terror. They are paying terrorists, they're keeping them on the payroll, and then they're unleashing them on a civilian population in Israel. It has to stop, and it has to stop today.